Hello, my name is Sisi or Clover. I am 24 years old and I am a stick and poke tattoo artist.
My name is Mare. I work at Lucky 13 in Kutztown. I'm an apprentice for tattooing here, and I was an apprentice for piercing here, and now I pierce full time, and I'm almost done with my tattoo apprenticeship.
My name is James Clouser, and I work for Lucky 13.
I specialize in stick and poke tattoos. So instead of a machine, I will use a individual needle and tape that to a popsicle stick to kind of stabilize it. And the particular art style I like to work in is very inspired by encyclopedias and medical drawings.
So for tattooing, my specialization is mostly like black and gray. I do stipple shading, but I do like doing like traditional stuff. And as an apprentice, I'm still kind of like, I guess, figuring out what I like to do the best, but definitely like doing black and gray. Color can be a pain in the ass, but it is still fun to do that. And I do like trying new stuff, especially right now. So when people come to me with custom stuff, that's always fun.
I've kind of like touched on everything out there. Like I've done portraits, done color, black and gray, fine line stuff, but I always seem to now come back to black and gray. And then especially diving into that, like anything that's nerdy as far as like theme goes, like video games. I play nerdy card games, movies, anime, all that stuff are then themes that I love to tattoo.
I got into tattooing because my mom used to tattoo out of the kitchen while I was growing up. Uh, Very inspired by coming home from school and she would be like tattooing one of her friends at the table. And it encouraged me to steal India ink from school and tattoo myself with sewing needles because I wasn't allowed to get a tattoo yet.
When I was 12, 13, I discovered Ink Masters, and I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked this one artist who's actually from Scranton. Her name is Ryan Ashley. I thought she was really cool. And I was just like, shit, maybe I want to do this.
Really early in my life, in school, I always liked to draw. I'd hand in tests and quizzes and everything else with drawings all over them. I would marker my hands up at school, and shortly after school, I was drawing at a barber shop, waiting for my hair to get cut, and one of the barbers saw it, and he was like, "Oh, that's cool. It looks like like some cool tattoos." And I was like, "Yeah, I would love to be able to take my art and tattoo with it and make money off of it." And he set me up with a friend of his who had a shop, and from there, I got a tattoo from the guy, and then followed up for an apprenticeship with him.
I ended up tattooing in Kutztown because I transferred here from Delaware County Community College so that I could finish my degree here.
Well, I've actually lived in Kutztown most of my life. I went to high school here. I started elementary here and stuff like that. I did move away to be with my mom's family in Quebec for a little bit, but most of my life has been here. And then I went to college here and everything. And I've just always like come to Lucky 13 for my piercings and my tattoos.
How I would say I started here was creating this place. We were able to get a storefront here in Kutztown from somebody who had a tattoo store who I would say wasn't in the greatest of like reputations. So we were able to come in, buy it out, change the name. And since then, I think it was like 2 years into owning the place that I realized owning a business sucks, especially when you're like 23, 24. So I had sold off my part of the ownership to him. Now he's full owner and he gets to deal with all the chaos and everything that comes with that.
Working in a college town definitely affects you seasonally. The summer is very, very slow. The winter is usually very slow. So a lot of the time I run a lot of sales and I will push a lot of flash days for the regulars that come and visit me from the surrounding areas like Reading and Fleetwood.
I definitely think it's like really an advantage for us to be in a college town because that is, I feel like that age group is usually the ones that are going to get tattoos and piercings. So in that sense, we're really lucky to be in this location, and it's also been a great source of like our workforce. A lot of us graduated from KU, and all of our people at our front desk are either going to KU or they already graduated.
For us working in a college town, it is nice because you do have quite a few students who have like a bit of disposable money and kind of want to spend it on art. And that's kind of like the mortar that holds everything together.
I think it can relate to me as well as my business and why I tattoo is to make people comfortable in their skin. It's like my number one goal is feeling comfortable, and tattoos have brought that to me specifically, especially being non-binary. I find the more I cover my skin, the more comfortable I feel. And I find a lot of my clients feel a very similar way, whether it's tied to their gender or not.
I think for me specifically, when I get them done, it makes me feel better about my body. And I guess, like I always say, like they don't have any meaning, but they kind of do. Because for me, I just think they're cool. And I guess I'm trying to have like a tell a story or kind of show who I am, my interests, the things that I feel like can describe me and stuff like that. And I think that's a really cool aspect of having tattoos, getting to decorate your body, feel better about yourself, and I guess like tell your story and stuff like that.
It's like still a form of like expressing art, and I would say using your body to express that art. It's something that a little bit more permanent. You're not losing. I say a little bit permanent because they do fade and stuff and wear, but it's a little bit of self-expression. It's kind of us allowing to change an aspect of us that we might want to see.
I recently did a dagger off of my Halloween flash. It's like a very, very intricately designed, almost poison dagger. And it's had a lot of thin lines and very dainty dot work. And then on the other side of it, I love doing stupid, silly tattoos. And one of my clients let me put Jeff the Killer on the back of their neck. So anytime somebody stands behind them, they can witness that for the rest of their lives.
Having people come to me with like really cool ideas that we kind of like create together. I'm trying to think like someone wanted me to do like an eyeball and a flower and they sent me like some AI picture and I was like, shit. And so we talked about it and I was like, do you want this flower specifically? And after talking a little bit, we came up with something like really different, unique, and really cool. And I thought it came out really neat. I think it was like the first time I did like an eyeball tattoo with eyelashes. So I was a little nervous. That was cool to do.
Recently, I just completed a sleeve on a buddy of mine where we entered into a tattoo competition. It ends up placing, and like, so in this moment, it's like, oh, that's one of my favorite pieces, like, because it's fresh. I'm kind of excited about it, but it doesn't mean that like any other piece isn't like, just as good or meaningful to me. Every piece is my favorite piece.
If I stay tattooing, I won't be mad about it. It's always going to stay as a hobby at the very least. But if I do stay doing it full time, and the even without doing it full time, the end goal is community. I've learned, especially from going back and forth to Philly, that my favorite part of the tattoo community is the people, and especially other DIY artists, because we all bond on such a level because we've all felt the struggles and the extra years of teaching ourselves and not having a mentor necessarily. So being able to bond with people on that level is something that I want to continue doing.
I think I definitely want to find like a specific style. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there that I admire other artists doing and stuff like that. So I just want to find like my niche. Like, yeah, I'm doing like stipple shading and stuff like that, but I feel like I could still figure out something different. And there's a lot of ideas I want to explore and stuff like that. So I'm excited to keep going in that evolution, finding what my niche is going to be, and maybe becoming an artist where it's just like everyone goes to you for this specific thing. Um, but again, it's one of those things where you're constantly evolving as an artist. And if you're not, that's a bad thing. Being stagnant is a bad thing. And I guess like future, when I'm too old to hold a tattoo machine or something like that, maybe I'll go back to school and become a marine biologist or paleontologist, like go back to what made me happy as a kid, I guess. So I think that's cool about this industry is like the amount of money that can be made and knowing that I don't have to just do this forever and that I can continue on with my life with other stuff because our lives are so long. There's so much we can do with all this time that we have. So I guess I'm just excited to see what I can do with this profession and where my skills are going to go and just see what I can do. I'm really excited about that.
A lot of times, I think that my goals kind of come up in smaller doses and smaller increments. Like I have kids right now, so like a lot of my goals are like, hey, make it home to see kids and try to maintain a healthy work and life balance between tattooing and raising kids. I know that like my goals will eventually become things like starting a shop of my own, dedicating, I think, a little bit more time to this field where I can improve my talent. I've traveled like around the world tattooing, so like I've kind of got that under the belt. So it's not like there's anywhere I want to travel to tattoo. Really, it's just like, oh yeah, I just want to have a healthy life, both, at work and away from work. And that's the goal, I think, for right now.